the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, item 5, presentation and recognitions. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, Vice President Kazi, members of the board, cabinet, and guests. I'm very excited to welcome Ms. Anna Andrews, President of MSD38, to podium.
And Classroom Teachers Association and Madison Administration to recognize the certified and classified staff who truly demonstrate Madison's vision of inspiring passion for learning and leading in an ever-changing world. All right, and our first You Make the Difference Award recipient is Roxanne Little. Roxanne Little exemplifies what it means to truly make a difference in our school community. As a dedicated and compassionate social worker working for SIMUS over the past 3 years, she tirelessly serves students, parents, and staff with unwavering commitment. Through her work providing Tier 2 and 3 interventions and support, Roxanne ensures that students receive the individualized help they need to succeed academically, socially, and emotionally. Her deep understanding of the challenges students face allows her to provide critical guidance and advocacy, making a lasting impact on their lives. Outside of her direct support for students, Roxanne plays a vital role in empowering parents as the PATS social worker liaison. She bridges the gap between home and school, offering resources, guidance, and encouragement to families navigating the challenges of parenting. She also coordinates community speaker services events, bringing valuable insights and expertise to our school, further enriching our community with knowledge and support. Roxanne's care and compassion extend to our staff as well. She fosters a culture of appreciation by coordinating birthday buddies, organizing thoughtful gift collections for special occasions, and ensuring care packages reach staff members facing difficult times. Her dedication to recognizing and uplifting others is evident in her efforts to help organize the Charter Champion Awards each month, celebrating staff members who embody the values of our charter. This year, Roxanne has gone above and beyond to support students with health challenges, ensuring they remain connected to school despite their circumstances. Whether sending daily updates, coordinating home visits with our SIMUS singers for holiday cheer, or accompanying administration on hospital visits, Roxanne demonstrates an unparalleled commitment to making every student feel valued and included. Roxanne's positive attitude, empathetic approach, and unwavering support make our school a stronger, more connected community. Her dedication to students, parents, and staff alike is truly inspiring, and it is with deep gratitude that we honor her as this year's You Make the Difference Award winner.
Go on up.
Congratulations. Thank you. We're going to go through that one now. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you for starting us out.
Over here.
No, all right,
And now the pictures.
Yeah. So this is you're going to be up here. I'll hold it. Hold the top. Thank you. We'll get one of them.
Would you like to say anything?
I would just like to say thank you. First of all, I'm proud to be a part of Madison and that you value social workers and have the social workers a part of schools is amazing and incredible. I feel very lucky to work at Simus. I have wonderful administration, wonderful staff, wonderful students, wonderful parents, wonderful colleagues. Even at other schools, I have a past student here tonight, which means a lot, and a colleague from number 1. So just thank you, everyone. This is a wonderful community, and this is really an honor, especially during school social work week. So I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Our next You Make the Difference Award recipient is Shauna Gower. The Ram Fam at Madison Meadows is proud to recognize Shauna Gower, an outstanding middle school science teacher, as our You Make the Difference Award recipient. Shauna has been an integral part of the Meadows community for 4 years, bringing passion, dedication, and leadership to her students and colleagues alike. Shauna quickly became a teacher leader on the Meadows campus. She serves on a leadership team. She leads professional learning communities and attends professional learning for the International Baccalaureate Program and science so she can hone her craft. Shauna not only collaborates with her fellow teachers to enhance instruction, but also works closely with parents to ensure all 8th grade promotion activities are seamless and memorable for students. Shauna is known for her incredible classroom management, creating an environment where students feel both challenged and supported. She expertly differentiates instruction to meet the diverse needs of her learners and is a thoughtful advocate for her team, ensuring they have the resources and support needed to thrive. Shauna's commitment to student success extends beyond the science classroom. This year, she has developed leadership, study skills, and organizational lessons that are now being taught in our guided study classes, equipping students with essential tools for academic and personal growth. Her colleagues say she leads by example, never asking others to do anything she wouldn't do herself. And they say she has an uncanny ability to see things from a variety of perspectives and communicates big picture ideas as well as details in a succinct and easy to understand manner. Students say she is always available to them. Have a question or need help? Ask Ms. Gower. Need a friendly smile or a pick-me-up? Go say hello to Ms. Gower. They use adjectives like patient, organized, friendly, and helpful when describing her. Beyond the classroom, Shauna's enthusiasm is contagious, whether she's inspiring students, leading her grade level team, or passionately cheering for the Kansas City Chiefs. Her unwavering dedication to the Meadows community makes a true difference every day, and we are honored to celebrate her achievements. Congratulations, Shauna, and thank you for all you do. We are eternally grateful that you are part of our Ram fam.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. At the bottom. Okay.
Would you like to say something?
Yeah, so I wanted to thank my boyfriend because he made me move to Arizona. So and not booing when we mentioned the Kansas City Chiefs. And my admin team for taking me on. I was a July hire, so I know that's kind of weird. But I just have great students. I have great staff that make me be able to focus on my students and give them what they deserve. So thank you so much too. This is really cool.
Thank
Not
you.
sweating, I promise.
All right, our first Shining Star Award recipient is Vicki Cook. We are proud to recognize Vicki Cook as this year's Shining Star Award recipient for her dedication as a kindergarten aide at Madison-Simus. She has played a vital role in supporting students, especially in the years following COVID, by providing targeted academic interventions and social-emotional support. Vicki works closely with small groups of students, helping them strengthen their skills and gain confidence. This year, all of the students she supported met their mid-year academic goals, allowing her to transition into extension groups to further challenge learners. In addition to her intervention work, she serves as a Tier 2 check-in mentor, ensuring students start and end their day with a caring adult who provides encouragement and guidance. Beyond academics, Vicki looks for ways to integrate IB/PYP practices into her daily work. She helps students make meaningful connections between classroom learning and real-life experiences, and she fosters curiosity and global awareness. She also creates beautiful bulletin boards for our community that celebrate different cultures from around the world, enriching the school environment. Always eager to support where needed, Vicki proactively seeks out ways to maximize her role across all 8 kindergarten classrooms. Her dedication, flexibility, and commitment to student success make her an invaluable part of our school community. Congratulations, Vicki, on being the Spring Shining Star at Madison-Simus.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Congratulations.
Jill, let's say something.
Yes, thank you so much for appreciating me. I appreciate it. And I love Simus. I actually love my job. So I love Simus. It's a great school. The staff is supportive, and the kindergarten team is amazing. So thank you.
And our second Shining Star Award recipient is Hilaria Rodriguez. At Madison Meadows Middle School, we are fortunate to have individuals who go above and beyond to make our community a better place. One such individual is Hilaria Lala Rodriguez, our exceptional night lead custodian. We are proud to name her our Shining Star at Meadows. When Lala took over the night shift last year, we experienced a transition so seamless and remarkably smooth that it felt as though she had been a fixture at Meadows for years. This speaks volumes about her professionalism and her ability to quickly integrate and lead. Lala possesses phenomenal communication skills, ensuring that every request, concern, and detail is addressed with clarity and promptness. Whether it's a quick email, text, or a face-to-face conversation, Lala's approachable demeanor and clear communication style make her an invaluable asset to our school community. No matter how late the hour or how long the night, Hilaria always has a smile on her face and a positive attitude, a true testament to her heart and character. Hilaria plays an essential role in keeping our campus spotless, ensuring that every classroom, hallway, and shared space is a clean and welcoming environment for our students and staff. But Hilaria does so much more than maintain our school. She lifts it up with her spirit, joy, and warmth. One of her coworkers summed it up perfectly. Hilaria is a wonderful person and part of our team. She is a wonderful person to talk to, and she really cares about our campus and community. Her leadership extends to her direct reports as well. Lala leads by example, demonstrating the same level of dedication and hard work that she expects from her team. Beyond her daily responsibilities, she plays a crucial role in supporting facility use for outside groups. Lala ensures that community organizations, sports teams, and other groups have seamless access to our campus, including our fields, cafe commons, classrooms, and courtyard. She manages these requests with efficiency and grace, ensuring that all parties have a positive experience. Beyond her hard work, Hilaria brings a sense of whimsy to Madison Meadows. Who else but Hilaria can make us believe in fairies living in our walls, walking through the tiny doors hidden around campus? Her ability to bring joy, laughter, and a little bit of magic into our daily lives reminds us all that even in the most routine of tasks, there is always room for wonder. In essence, Lela is more than just our night lead custodian. She is a vital member of the Madison Meadows family. Her dedication, her positive attitude, and her unwavering commitment to excellence makes her a true shining star. Lela, on behalf of the entire Madison Meadows Middle School community, we thank you for your outstanding service and for making our school a brighter and more welcoming place. Please join me in congratulating Hilaria Lala Rodriguez, our Shining Star recipient.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you for the magic in the one day.
It's good to be you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Would you like to say something?
Yes. Well, let me see, because I didn't have time to write it out. I'm grateful for this award and consider it a great honor to receive it. The school and the staff constantly made it a pleasure to work with them. Additionally, the principal and the assistant principal have been exceptional, supportive, and it's a pleasure to work with everybody in the school. Everybody is very nice there. And they welcomed me when I started working here. And I thank you for all the nice comments that you say about me. But I believe in cares.
You see him.
You're there.
Before we move to the superintendent's report, I want to thank the Meadows students who did the presentation, putting that together on such short notice with the flu outbreak that's happening at Meadows. Please give our thanks to those students. They did an incredible job, and hope everybody else gets well soon. And appreciate everybody coming today. I guess I don't have to give the usual "you're free to leave, don't stick around" speech, but you're free to leave. Don't feel like you have to stick around. Superintendent's report, Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests. I am thrilled to share that the Madison Elementary School District received preliminary notification that we have once again achieved systems accreditation through Cognia. I will share the initial results later in the meeting. A special thanks to Educational Services under the leadership of Assistant Superintendent Barb Marshall. A special thanks to Jason Piankowski for leading this process. Jason and his team worked tirelessly to ensure that accreditation aligned with our strategic plan and our school integrated action plans so that this deep dive into our system did not occur in a silo. Instead, the progress brought additional clarity to our current work, aligning it with our district strategic plan and the school's plans to support our system-wide efforts to ensure the best outcomes for every student in Madison. February 24th through the 28th was Public Schools Week. It's a time to appreciate educators, students, and the entire school communities while championing the value of public education. Did you know 9 out of 10 students in our nation attend public schools? With over 51 million students, 3.2 million teachers, and hundreds of thousands of specialists, administrators, and support staff working in public schools. Join us in celebrating Public Schools Week by sharing on social media why you love your public school and the Madison School District. March 2nd through the 8th is School Social Worker Week. We are fortunate to have the support of a social worker at each of our 8 schools, and we got to honor a remarkable one this evening. National School Social Work Week is a great way to recognize school social workers and celebrate the impactful work they are doing in their schools and community, not only for our students, but also for our staff. When I visit schools, school community members and staff always tell me, we don't know what we would do without our social workers and counselors. I hear it all the time. The Madison Education Foundation does so much for our students, including Art Masterpiece, field trips to the MIM, and more things than I can mention. I hope you will join me in upcoming 2 events. The night at the museum, and I know I'm not supposed to pick favorites, but it's frankly one of my favorite events of the year. It is really remarkable. This year, it's on Friday, April 11th from 5 to 8. It's free, and it's for the family. Art masterpieces come to life. You can talk to some artwork. Art lessons, displays, live sketching, button making, food trucks. What more could you ask for? I hope to see you at the Madison Center for the Arts for this amazing family event. The 3rd annual Madison Education Foundation Gala is set sail on the SS Madison. So pretend you're jumping on a cruise ship and join us as we embark on a night of food, fun, philanthropy, enjoy cocktails, live entertainment, silent auction, and casino-style games, all while supporting the great work of the foundation. It's April 26th from 6 to 10 p.m., and tickets are on sale right now on their website, so please go to the Madison Education Foundation. Don't forget, open enrollment is right now. Tell your friends and neighbors that now is the time to enroll in the Madison School District for right now or next year. And lastly, Madison is hiring. Please check out our website. Our next job fair is scheduled for Wednesday, March 19th from 4 to 6 p.m. in the Center for the Arts lobby. I hope everyone has a wonderful and restful spring break next week.
Thank you, Dr. Guerin. Who should we start with today? Mr. Hunt, would you like to go first today?
Sure thing. I was lucky enough to get to tour MTA with Dr. Guerin as well as Madison Meadows a couple weeks ago, and just want to say thank you to the principals at each of those institutions. It was really, really incredible to see high quality public education in each of those spaces, very different ways of delivering it and delivering it at an excellent level. So just really walked out of those tours with a huge smile on my face and really ready to sing the praises of the work that you're doing there, Principal Clark. Also was lucky enough to get to take part in the Odyssey of the Mind competition that took place at Meadows this last weekend. I didn't know that that was such a massive cultural element, but now I know. But to the staff at Madison Meadows, the custodians and others that made the school available and in perfect condition for that experience, to all of the teachers and other staff that were there just on the weekend taking part as judges and coaches and all of those different elements. It was really a great thing to see, and congratulations to the many teams from the Madison district that are going on to state, including my daughter's class or team that's going to state in Tucson on the 29th. So just really great showing there. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gresham.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, you really know how to clear a room this evening.
That's what my kids tell me.
I will congratulate, as always, our award winners, and we always hope that we can continue counselors and social workers and all our support staff who obviously are very important to us. And thank you for the wonderful video from Meadows. But I feel compelled to bring up again a serious topic of student safety and firearms. I had more than one parent and community member bring this to my attention in the past week. And it's always something on all our minds. I encourage you to, if you haven't, you can watch our town hall we had a couple months ago. I believe it's still online. And so there are multiple bills in the state legislature regarding this issue. So I encourage you to find out about those. And I also want to thank our Madison advocates. We had a wonderful PTO luncheon yesterday, so thank you for all our PTOs for joining us. And so they did bring this up as well. We have a zoning hearing coming up in our district, in our neighborhood, for a home business to sell firearms. And so the Madison advocates sent out an email about that, so you can find out about it from them. If you're not on their email list, I encourage you to do so, because they do send things out occasionally about any issues affecting our students. So this is about the safety of our students, and as well as a group called Moms Demand Action, who we have many parents and community members that are involved in that as well, and they track the bills in the legislature as well as this zoning issue. And so I encourage everyone to stay informed and make their voices heard on that issue. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Holcomb.
Thank you. I want to congratulate our You Make a Difference award winners and Shining Star Award. And I wanted to follow up on a comment that one of them made about how wonderful the community was that they, at their school. I really, excuse me, the community is important. And tonight, I think we get to see something that a lot of people don't associate with community, and that is our budget. And because the process where we got to our budget was really a community process. We brought members of the community. It was the whole Madison community coming together, and instead of fighting over a budget, coming together to work through what was best for the entire community. I thought that was reflected. And her comment also made me think about the PTO lunch. That's a great demonstration of how strong the Madison community is. What really impressed me every time is how the PTOs not only serve their schools, but work with each other, excuse me, and support each other. And that strength of community, I think, is one of the things that makes Madison special and makes the education here so good. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Causey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll echo all of the insightful and meaningful comments of my peers. Do want to send out a bit of a warning to Mr. Hunt. All three of my boys went through Odyssey of the Mind, and suddenly in 1 year I became a coach, and then we went to World 2 times. So just beware that it can be a little culty. But I will also say that it really is for a district that we in our strategic plan, the development of transversal skills is such an important part of who we are and how we mold the students that come out of our schools. I'd say Odyssey of the Mind falls into that area as well. It is a tremendous program. Want to let everybody know that I attended an ABAC, Arizona Business and Education Coalition, meeting last week. They have started the development of a career exploration campus framework. And the meeting was designed to get feedback from the business sector, from the education sector, from the nonprofit sector, so that we can develop the ABEX leadership some kind of framework that a campus or a district could adopt that would basically give it a seal of approval that this particular school or district is providing these opportunities to their students. It's a really fabulous framework to start with. We had really robust participation from throughout the state, and so I will continue to keep you apprised of the process and the product. But I think it's definitely an area that I have a lot of deep interest in, and I imagine my peers on this board do as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll have a brief report today. I want to echo the comments of my fellow board members about congratulations to all of our award winners. The PTO lunch yesterday was lovely, and it's really great to see our communities coming together to help each other. I want to wish everybody a great spring break coming up later this week. And finally, I want to thank our team for all the work that went into that Cognia accreditation. We are, if I'm remembering correctly, the only K-8 district in the state who has Cognia. recognition. It is a lot of work goes into that, but we should be very proud of being of that designation. And I was happy to be a part of that process to answer questions about how we as a governing board work with district administration and our sites to ensure that our schools are constantly improving. So thank you everyone for the work on that, and congratulations on that accreditation. Next on the agenda, consent items. Is there anyone have anything they'd like to pull off the consent agenda, or do I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Ms. Gresham, seconded by Ms. Kazi. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next on our agenda is call to the public. Pursuant to board policy, time has been set aside for a call to the public. This is an opportunity for individuals to address the entire board in a public setting to express their views or concerns. State law limits our ability to respond to comments made during the call to the public. However, we do hear the remarks and ask our superintendent to follow up and to provide us with information regarding any issues raised. To keep us on schedule, each speaker has no more than 3 minutes to present. Do we have anybody for call to the public today?
We have no calls to public.
No calls to the public today. Next item on the agenda is information items. Dr. Guerin.
Madam President, members of the board, cabinets, and guest. I'm excited to share a little overview of our Cognia accreditation that I mentioned in the superintendent remarks. First of all, I just want to let you know this is a preliminary report that they provided feedback on the day they let us know that we received accreditation, and we will receive a lengthy report that I'll share some of the information that we'll get from that. But first of all, what is accreditation? It's an international protocol for institutions committed to systemic and sustainable improvement. It builds capacity of the institution to improve and sustain student learning, and it improves effectiveness and efficiency throughout the institution. High schools are required to have accreditation, and back in the day it used to be called Advanced Ed. They merged with another company, and now it's Cognia accreditation, and they work with about 2,000 schools per year throughout the nation. Accreditation, if you want to renew it, it's every 5 years. It is not mandatory for a K-8 school district, but in Madison, we continue to strive for excellence, and we know that to do that, we have to continually reflect and examine our practices and our data and really take a deep dive to have that continual improvement. So this accreditation, it really just mirrors what we try to do every day in Madison. And when we talked as a cabinet and with the Educational Services Department, we talked about this work not happening in a silo, that there wasn't going to just be a few people working on this, that it was going to be embedded so that we can have a shared vision of excellence for our district. So you'll notice that the school integrated action plans are very much aligned. My own goals and my progress measures are aligned with this. Of course, the district vision and mission is the thing that drives all of our work, the district strategic plan, and even the administrative evaluation system. When you have such alignment with all of these systems, there's a clear common pathway for all of us to move toward together, and there's clarity in the goals and priorities. There's so much work to be done. Our plates are very full, so we have to be very deliberate about what we prioritize with our time, which is, as we know, our most valuable resource. 90% of our budget is for our people, right? And so that is something that we're always focused on. So as you know, Madison has a commitment to excellence. It's a long-standing tradition that, frankly, we hold sacred and we don't take for granted. We understand that it's one thing to achieve excellence, it's another thing to continually maintain it, and we all take it very seriously. There's such a commitment and pride in this community, and I think everyone feels that they play a part in sustaining this work. Our commitment is deeply embedded in our strategic plan, which was developed through collaborative efforts all the way through COVID. It was quite a journey to get there. And it involved governing board, district leadership, educators in the community, and this foundational work set the stage for us receiving this Cognia accreditation. And we embedded a lot of this work through the meetings that we already have throughout the year, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But Madison's engagement in Cognia accreditation, and you can see our whole submittal, it is quite impressive. But we did some self-assessment and data collection. So Cognia develops performance standards that they measure a school district or system by. So we looked at those and we measure ourselves against those standards. Academic and behavioral data from EduClimber, because we look at the whole child, so it's not just academics. We looked at our classroom conditions and the conditions for learning. We sought stakeholder feedback, and we documented and we had to present evidence for every piece. Lots of evidence. For stakeholder engagement, this is how we really created alignment and made sure that this work was not happening in a silo. So I'm going to tell you what all these acronyms stand for in case you are interested. We have Strategic Initiative Madison Action Teams, and those are the folks working on the strategic plan. We have Instructional Leadership Team, Administrative Leadership Team, and our School Integrated Action Plans. And this work all flowed through these systems. We integrated it across the systems, and we aligned it with existing structures to enhance efficiency. We're very careful about how much we have to pull people out of the building and the extra work on the plates, so that was also just trying to be strategic. Ongoing monitoring and reporting for future accreditation. We need to continue the work. We don't just stop and start every 5 years, so we have to sustain our alignment and our continuous. Now on to the highlights. What was our report card? And we're going to get a very detailed report on this, but I am not surprised that our governing board was one of the highlights. Throughout all our evidence-based practices and their interview with President Thompson, they noticed that we have a very engaging governing board that really focuses on supporting the whole educational system. They found that quite remarkable and really helped drive the whole system. They felt that our leadership was collaborative and inclusive, that we deploy a student-centered practice to support the whole child, and we advertise that loudly and proudly, and it is integrated in everything that we do, and they could see that easily. We promote high growth and achievement for all. We use the signature programs to attract and retain our students. They were very impressed with all of that and the high level that we provide, and that our commitment to continuous improvement. They did say they could have done several slides of highlights, but they limited it to one slide for us, but we'll get a deeper dive when we get the full report. Of course, this process is not just about highlights, it's about how can we grow. So on the next slide, it's considerations for us to consider. So as we get our findings, they want us to prioritize them for manageable actions and to align them with our current work. They want us to strive for consistency of practice across the district. For example, this year we're focusing on MTSS for middle school intervention, right? So how is that in all learning places? Continue to focus on differentiation in the classroom and a process to evaluate the long-term effectiveness and sustainability of our conditions and programs, and refining protocols for teachers around the use of data and the use of balanced assessment. There's many assessments. Are we making them easy for teachers to access just in time to make instructional decisions is very important. So our next steps will receive a final draft report in about 45 to 60 days. We'll have a rating of the standards in the 4 key characteristics. We'll also get an index of education quality score. So we're rated on a rubric of 1 to 4 in each of the areas. Then we'll have narrative describing the themes that they found in the findings, and then they're going to note specific actions that they hope that we will take in the next 3 years. So what I thought is Ed Services and Mr. Piankowski could visit the study session in the summer. We'll have the report by then, and we can take a deeper dive. But truly proud of all of the work that went into this. So thank you so much. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Dr. Guerin. Questions from the board?
I said, oh, sorry.
Ms. Kazi?
Just really, I've been through this process previously. I've been interviewed, and it is a expansive and exhaustive process. And so I just want to commend everyone that was involved in the process. It's an additional piece of work in a busy year, but it is so important for us to get someone from the outside to give us some feedback. And so I commend you, Dr. Guerin, for continuing our involvement in this process, and everyone else, all the other administrators at the district level, at the site level, and community who participated. It is impressive and important, and I look forward to discussing the specific findings and accolades in the summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kazi. Mr. Hunt?
Yes, first of all, great news that it went well. Looking forward to learning more about it when we get the final report. Do you, I guess, may not have an answer to this question, or members of the cabinet, do you find that going for cognitive accreditation drives innovation in the district, or do you find that we're doing the work and this is a nice element to recognize the work that's being done?
I feel like it helps us take a deep dive, and it requires a lot of self-reflection. And so when we were sitting in at ALT meeting and we were going through the characteristics and talking about where there was evidence and where something else might not be as explicit and maybe we would need to lean in on that area, I think the work that we're doing, sometimes you're so close into the work, it's hard to zoom out picture, and because they have these specific characteristics that we're examining the work that we do on it, I think it leads to a lot of reflection and alignment. And because we're required to provide evidence on everything that we claim that we have in the district, we also have to back it up. So I found it because we didn't just lock ourselves in a room and do it for several days, it was something we worked at every month, and Assistant Superintendent Marshall's team really led us into this work, but all departments were heavily involved.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you, Dr. Guerin, and again, congratulations to the team. Action items. 9.1, audience view contract. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, I'd like to turn it over to Deputy Superintendent Lori Garvey with some more good news.
Yes. Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Guerin, and cabinet. Just really pleased and excited to be bringing this agenda item to you today for a new ticketing platform for the Madison Center for the Arts. We did an evaluation of 3 different platforms to see there were 3 major areas that we were looking at. So we were looking at customer service, and we were looking at fundraising. How can this platform be used for fundraising? And then how can we use it to help us be more efficient, drive decisions, and understand what's happening? So based on those 3 general areas that we looked at, Audience View was selected. It by far had the most robust set of criteria that we could use. They have a wonderful customer service or customer experience platform. So unlike our current platform, it actually will mirror ours, so that when you click on it from the web page, the current Madison Center for the Arts web page, you will still think like you're within it. So it's a seamless transition. It allows a customer to buy gift cards. That's not currently part of our current platform. And they can personalize them. We can send them to anybody. It's even easy for people that aren't that perhaps might be technology challenged. It's a much easier, intuitive platform for them to use. It streams fundraising into it in many different ways. So there are different things all the way from selling merchandise, making donations, to actually holding a fundraising event with multi-tiers on it. And the use of that in the back, what we would call the background, was much easier to maneuver. And then for us, as far as the Madison Center for the Arts, we will be able to run way more detailed reports on where just people are coming from, what our attendance is, just a tremendous amount of information that we think will really help drive us forward. So we're very excited about the thought that this may be approved this evening.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Yes.
I wondered if you could give just some more overview of how the user experience,
Right. Again, I think it's when they come onto the website. Currently, when you go on, sometimes you have to hunt and peck and look around, and it's just not as, it's much easier to set up on our side because we set up all that ticketing on our side. So it's a much easier transition. It's more intuitive. You will think that you're still on our site when you go to buy those tickets. It will give you options. It allows multi-tier easily. You can pick, there are just so many more selections that a person could do, and you see the integration, I think, is just so much better for the user. So the interface is really above and beyond what we currently have because it's very customer focused. I don't think our current one was as customer focused as it was just a huge system. And this one really allows us to modify. We can easily do that on our own without having to go to the vendor and ask for some modifications. So we are really hoping that our patrons will find it a much easier process and less hiccups as they go along.
Yes, Ms. Kazi.
So does it function as a CRM as well? I mean, I know the billing is, the billing subscription fee is based on ticket maximum, but is there like a number of, donors or participants maximum? Is there a billing component to that, or is it unlimited, the number of names you can house with, their history of ticket purchases and donations?
Right. I can get back to you on that, but I do believe that it's unlimited. It also interfaces, it does Google Analytics for us that we can run. So we can do a lot more database decisions around what we're doing, but it definitely houses a lot. I'm pretty sure that it's unlimited, and I can get back to you on that.
And then on the fundraising platforms, are they plugins or are they already a part of the product?
They're part of the product, but we can modify them to what we need.
So is there any vision that the Madison Education Foundation might be able to, utilize this tool, or because right now the foundation is using a tool that is okay, but not great?
That is the hope, that would integrate.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Go ahead.
Good. Thank goodness we no longer have to dance with the devil, with Ticketmaster. I actually asked this to be taken off the consent so we could present this because I think you're letting our community know and how important this is and how much better the user experience will be. I think it's going to be a big plus for the Madison.
Great. Thank you for all the work that goes into, reviewing all of the responses to the RFP and going through this process. So it sounds like it's going to be a great asset to us. Is there a motion to approve the audience view contract as presented?
I second the motion. Oh.
We're fighting for the motion in the second. Motion was made by Mr. Holcomb, seconded by Ms. Kazi. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. 9.2, Superintendent's fiscal year 26 budget recommendations.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, I'm pleased to present my recommendation for the budget for the 2025-26 school year. I'd like to start by thanking all of the staff that were highlighted at the last meeting that participated in interest-based negotiations and budget advisory. Interest-based negotiations was led by Assistant Superintendent Barb Marshall and Executive Director Dr. Lomely, and it was comprised of representatives from all different employee groups to work on budget recommendations and employee working conditions. And just very pleased to see the outcome from that work. In tandem was budget advisory led by Deputy Superintendent Garvey, which also was comprised of employees, but also parents and community members as they worked on budget recommendations. We had our MDTCA President Anna Andrews serve on both committees and communicate with both groups to create those two separate recommendations. So there was some communication back and forth, but they also worked on their own recommendations, which led to this budget recommendation. Truly, I think, a fantastic process that's very inclusive and transparent, which is what you need in a budget process, especially in lean times when we're not working with a large amount of money, unfortunately. So as Ms. Garvey shared last meeting, we are thrilled that our average daily membership is stable, and actually we had a slight increase, and that increase isn't reflected in all of these numbers. We can expect a 2% increase in inflation, even though the legislature will probably not deliver a budget till late June, but statutorily we'll know that we have the 2% increase. That increase also allows us to increase our override. So we have additional funds coming out of our maintenance and operations override. And then we strategically have uncommitted budget balance carry forward. We looked at our budget balance carry forward, and then we know we wanted to reserve at least 3%. So we reserved a little over 3.25% of the budget, leaving us $350,000 for the total that you see in yellow below is our projected revenue. On the next slide, you will see that we're stable with our staffing. We look at our staffing in cabinet every week as our open enrollment numbers come in. We look at class size, all of those things. So that could change. But right now we're very stable. With medical insurance, we have a 2.5% increase, which Lori Garvey secured for us last year. And the average increase, I think she shared with us around the nation, is 8 to 10%. We're pleased at our 2.5%. And ARS, our retirement contribution, actually went down a little bit. So that leaves our increase in total projected revenue below at 1.1. Then I'm going to just briefly touch on the IBN recommendations that you saw last week. IBN, interest-based negotiations, recommended a 2.75 salary increase. Both groups stressed that salary and benefits were their number one priority, and you will see that reflected in the final recommendation. They wanted to keep the current benefits package, and the dependent insurance premiums were just too expensive to really make a dent in those, so we wanted to keep those the same. And then new teacher Madison orientation, we wanted to make sure that our new teachers were compensated for the extra additional hours that they receive training before our other teachers come back on duty. IBN recommended special education stipends, those hard to fill positions, looking for an equalization across the board for our special education teachers in resource and self-contained programs, because we're grandfathering a few folks in and increasing the resource teachers from 1,000 to 2,000. There is a slight cost to that. The longevity pay increase recommended was $50 for each pay amount. And we try to chip away at our holiday pay for classified when they have, like during winter break, when they're not paid. They were recommending to add 1 day for our 9 and 10-month employees. And then they talked about a designated teacher work day before school that we protect more time for work in the classroom and preparation. They tabled the middle school reading intervention. They felt that was important, but with our limited budget, just really stressing that salary increase, any additional funding we get. They want some clarity around remote work to communicate and train supervisors and employees on benefits and expectations for remote work. and utilizing PTO on breaks for classified staff. That is not allowable. We will share why to make sure there's a common understanding throughout the organization on that, and why we will continue to chip away at those unpaid days during breaks. Some of the working conditions was the required training in Vector to protect that time and make sure that training gets out early so people have time to get that done. Protect the prep time, which we will communicate our current definition of prep time to ensure that our educators have time to prepare for instruction. And we looked at the 504 stipends again for the people that lead that. That role is going to stay with the assistant principals at this time. And then budget advisory recommendations. Again, this came from staff, community members, and parents. They recommended a 2.5% salary increase. They also recommended additional day of classified holiday pay. They recommended a reading interventionist for middle schools, but because of the limited money, they were requesting a 0.2 per school, which is an additional 2 class periods. So instead of hiring someone new, it'd be additional funding to each middle school in regards to the class periods. They also wanted to pay new teachers for new teacher orientation, and the increased longevity pay, they were looking at a little bit more depending on the current lanes. I believe theirs was $100 per lane. So based on all of that additional cabinet discussion, review of the budget, review what we have in reserve, this is my recommendation for this evening. That we provide a 2.5 salary increase across the board to all employees, that we provide a 0.8 total for reading interventionists for middle schools. I feel strongly about this because one of our areas of focus in our strategic plan is to provide opportunities for middle school students to also receive interventions and not have the schedule blocking our ability to do that. And that's just a 0.2 per middle school, our 3 middle schools and the K-8 school. And we will evaluate the effectiveness with data to see if that made an impact. We'd like to pay the new teachers at new teacher orientation. With all of these items, we were only able to afford increasing longevity pay by $50 per lane, not the $100 per lane, but again, continuing to chip away at that. Over the last couple years, we've done a lot with parity, and we've really focused on certified and classified staff. We looked at 10 districts that had the most similarity to us, and we looked at their pay ranges and tried to make sure our goal was to be in the top third in regards to the pay ranges and at least above the median. And we also worked on classified staff compression because as minimum wage increased, we had supervisors supervising people that maybe they only made 20 cents more per hour. So we carried forward money to be able to actually make a dent in that, and it was hard work. I really want to applaud all the work groups that did that, but we still had not done anything with administrator pay, and we feel like we're in a good spot with other districts. But what we noticed is that we dropped off in parity the longer administrators stayed with us in regards to being competitive with other school districts. And our administrators were very lucky. We have great retention here, and we want to honor that. So here we're increasing $100 per year for experience for admin. So if you have 10 years experience, you would get an additional $1,000. We know it's not much, but again, we're trying to do the best we can with a tight budget year. I'm also recommending the classified additional holiday, which will cost us $21,000, and evening out the special education stipends with grandfathering some of our self-contained program teachers in, and that will cost about $25,000 for a total of $1,147,000 approximately. When we talk about cost-neutral recommendations, working conditions are just as important. We hear this time and time again from our employees. So we are looking at increasing an additional half day of protected work day in the few days that we return before school starts. We have trimmed down the required vector training as much as we can, and we'll strategically send it out early, and sites can designate a TCT day if they would like, or a staff meeting if they'd like to come, to do that training together. We're going to make sure that the sites are consistent in their protected prep time, and we're going to communicate current definitions of those. We're going to shore up remote work and make sure we have consistency across different departments. And we're going to communicate and make sure we have understanding on why paid time off cannot be used during breaks like winter break and spring break, but we will continue to try to add additional paid days for our classified employees. They're so important to us. And just to stress again, if any additional money comes in, it will go directly towards salaries. I'm asking the governing board to approve the budget recommendation for the 25-26 school year, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Guerin. Does the board have any questions? Ms. Gresham.
Thank you, Madam President. Just more of a few comments, things I want to point out. And thank you, Dr. Guerin, for your presentation. And also, I'm sure we'll have more questions tonight, but this is also, we've been presented this and talked about this multiple times, including in executive session. So if we're not drilling again, that is why. But I also like to point out again, also there was a new article about this recently about administrative expenses for public schools. Our Arizona District Public Schools have one of the lowest in the country. And they also just did a recent study about Arizona, and our administrative costs are half of those of charter schools in Arizona. So hopefully our budget, this recommendation reflects that. And I do just want to emphasize that your budget is reflective of your values, and I think Madison does a great job with that. And then of course, because we're always emphasizing that yes, the majority of our budget does go to salaries, and not just our teachers, of course, but also all our staff and employees. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Yes, Ms. Cousins.
My comments are going to extend on the thread of my colleague, Ms. Gresham. Whether an organization is intentional or not about their budget, our budget in any organization is our most important policy document. And I believe that Madison is incredibly intentional about the work that we do in our budget process. And I think the recommendation that you're presenting to us tonight, Dr. Guerin, is a true representation of expansive input, inclusive input. Appreciate all the work of everyone that was involved in the budget. I would like to, can I make a motion? Is that okay? I would like to move that we approve the superintendent's 25-26 budget recommendation as presented.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Motion made by Ms. Causey, seconded by Ms. Gresham. Please vote. While we're voting, I want to echo the comments of my colleagues and thank all of the people who participated in the budget process, not only staff and administration, but the community members and parents who also took part in that process. Thank you for all your work. Motion passes unanimously. Next two items on the agenda are 9.3 and 9.4 that have to do with first with administrative, certified teacher, certified support salary ranges and extra duty, then terms of employment. Dr. Guerin.
Madam President, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, it is up to Dr. Lomeli and business in partnership with Business Services to make this budget a reality. So I'd like to thank them for their extensive work on this and turn it over to Dr. Lomeli.
Thank you, Dr. Guerin. Madam President, members of the board, cabinet, the two items before you here, 9.3 is our salary ranges that are necessary to be approved so that we can issue contracts. And 9.4 is the approval of our contract templates, addendums, and our indefinite term employment. Our contract templates, those have been reviewed by legal counsel. And so I ask that you approve these so that we can issue our contracts to staff on March 17th.
Any questions from the board? Mr. Holcomb.
Just one real question. Are there any substantive changes to the template from past years?
The only change to the contract templates is some language that's tied to statute where employees would have to they would have to disclose if they are considered for any legal issue, if they've been arrested or are under, I'll give you the exact language, warrants that they have not pled guilty, pled no contest, been convicted, or is awaiting trial for any crime, including but not limited to the crimes listed in statute. And also it asks that employees, that if they do become arrested during their employment, that they report that immediately.
So, Ms. Lumley, it's my understanding that that's to kind of require reporting from employees for anyone who might get with the issues related to fingerprint clearance cards. So
That is correct.
be aware. Thank you. Other questions?
Thank you.
Can we do these together, or do we need to do them separately? Is there a motion to approve both the salary ranges and the employment contracts?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Holcomb, seconded by Ms. Gresham. Please vote. I think that motion online is just reflecting that we're voting on one of them, but the motion was to approve both of them together. If we could reflect that in, do we need to vote on both of them?
No, that will be reflected in the minutes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Discussion regarding future meetings. Dr. Guerin.
President Thompson, members of the board, cabinet, and guests, it's hard to believe that next week is spring break, the end of third quarter. We do have one more meeting in March, and that is
It's going backwards.
and normally I print it out as a backup, but of course today I did not.
This is like our greatest hits.
That's a PDF version, but if you talk amongst yourself for 5 minutes, I will.
We will talk amongst ourselves while Miss Humphrey, the magician, finds where the other copy
So I can
is.
see if I can do some of this from memory.
Okay.
Well, see if I can impress you, governing board members. So we do have an ELA adoption at Madison Heights that we're very excited about to get some new curriculum in Madison Heights. So that will be coming forward. We're going to do that as one reading because it is like a mini adoption. So that will be an action item, I believe, at that time. Let's see if I can remember anything else. I know we have that one. And Parent Square is coming up. We have a Parent Square update as a future recommendation as well.
If I may, with the adoption of the budget, are there any economic or financial things coming up in the near future that we should highlight, Ms. Garvey?
Nothing to highlight that.
Well,
there-
look, I got the Parent
there is
Square and
note, there is a head shake no.
so March 25th, we will have the Parent Square update, which it has launched at 4 of our schools, and the ELA adoption for Madison Heights. And Ms. Garvey will talk a little bit about our health insurance plan and the changes that we were informed of. And then April 8th.
And the Heights Showcase.
And the Heights Showcase, of course. And April 8th, we have community education, early literacy update, food service wellness update, and the Madison Highland prep update. I think that will do it for tonight.
I think we've got Madison Top Chef coming up soon, too.
Very exciting.
I'm sure we'll hear about that in that food services update. Any other questions or comments regarding future board meetings from the board? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Gresham, seconded by Ms. Causey. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Meeting adjourned.
it's a process you have to go through to apply.
Right, yeah.
So,
I mean, that's what I see.
Yeah,
That we've done
right.
it before, but we didn't do it.
and it's school by school.
Yeah,